got this beauty of a machine. This is my Treadle machine. It is a Singer Red Eye, I think is what the model number. Um, Not the model number, the paint job, I think is a Red Eye. I'll give you guys close-ups on that. If I'm remembering correctly from the last time I looked up the serial number, this machine was made in like the early 1900s. So we're talking like 1900 to 1905, I think. So she's old, but she's doing a good job. I am really proud of this machine, if I'm being honest. Let me wind up this spool real quick. There we go. Okay. So I figured we'd talk about how I got the machine. I'd show you all the mechanical bits. We'd talk about my favorite parts of the machine. And then like we can just chat after, because I don't think that's going to take a whole hour. So that's my plan. All right. So I have been looking for a treadle machine for years. I think once I finally got into a position where I knew that I was financially stable, because you like go through that period as an adult where you're not. But once I was in a position in my life where like I felt like I had some sort of stability, I started looking for a treadle machine. It had been on my list of things to like just own and use and love for a while. Like I think since high school. I think like that was a high school me dream. So I just like randomly would like look up treadle machines or whatever. This one was listed on Facebook Marketplace for $50. And I was just like, if this works, it'll be fantastic. And I expected to like have to replace a few pieces and to have to like oil a lot of the joints, because I expected the machine to just be really rusty and out of shape. So I like texted the owner and I was just like, hey, is that really the price? And is it functional? Like, does it work? And so it actually, the people who owned this machine before me were antique dealers, and they would sell at antique fairs and flea markets. And so they, like, this was just not selling or taking up space, or I don't know what was going on. And they just wanted it gone, which is why it was so cheap. Anyway, they told me that it was working, and I said that I would love to come and look at it and possibly purchase it. So I went with a friend, and like the machine off as much as, so my main concern was just making sure that the hand wheel worked, and I could see the take up lever and the needle go up and down, because I knew that if all of those mechanics worked, then I could get everything else to work, right? I just wanted to make sure nothing inside the iron head was like rusted. So like we did that, and like it was beautiful. It worked. And then I also tested like the mechanics down here. I made sure that like nothing was like super like it was all stiff because it hadn't been oiled, but nothing was rusted in place. And so like I got a treadle machine for $50. And I've replaced one part on the entire machine. Well, obviously a needle. So technically two, because it didn't come with a needle, but I didn't expect it to come with a needle. But yeah, I've replaced one part on my $50 treadle. So it is really exciting. Like all of the drawers are beautiful. They just slide, like some more than other because wood warps when it gets old. But like this is helping me be organized. It's just, I love, when I worked at the tailor shop, we had machines set into cabinets like this, and I loved having the extra workspace out to the side, and how like literally like everything is just how the machine is just set in. Like I loved working with that. And when I left that tailor job and I was working on my home sewer, like my modern electric again, it just made me sad because it's not the same feel. Like you don't feel like you have as much control over things because the It's not set into the tabletop. Oh, excuse me. Sorry guys, that's kind of gross. Anyway, so now that I'm back to working with a machine like this, it makes me so happy. Like, I don't know how else to put it. Like, this machine is so much fun to work with. It's brought a lot of joy back to this craft for me. Which, like, and a lot of joy that I didn't know that I was missing, right? Because I've just been working with electric machines, and I didn't know that I, like, had a need for something just intrinsically more, I don't know, mechanical. That's the only, like, thing I can think of. So, all right, so let's show you the mechanics down here. The floor of my studio is a mess because I am a mess, and therefore, and it all translates to the floor. So there you go. This is a pile of shame. Oh, you guys are gonna just spin like that? So this is the pile of shame that has been there for however long. We're gonna focus on this. Well, maybe if I move my leg. Yes, out of the frame. Cool. So this is the foot pedal. Let's unthread this so it doesn't get... Oh, it's already unthreaded. Cool. Okay, so this is a foot pedal on, like, modern machines. Like, same thing. It's what you push to make it go. But it's just... I don't know. There's something about using your feet to power a machine that just makes it awesome. Anyway, so the foot pedal connects to this rod, which connects to the wheel down, the lower wheel, what we'll call it. And the lower wheel will then move the belt. Oh, you guys can't see that. So the lower wheel then moves the belt, which is a piece of rope, which I thought I would have to replace with some sort of, like, faux leather cord or something. But this, like, it has the tension it needs. It has, like, the grip it needs. Like, this is literally everything it needs. And the belt came with the machine. I don't know if the belt is original. I don't even know how to go about finding that out. But it came with the machine. So you can see that, like, doing this just, like, spins the lower wheel, and this is literally all you do to power the machine. I don't know why this is so cool to me. But usually when I sew, and I did this, so when you're working with, okay, let me find my words. The machines that we used in the tailor shop had big foot pedals like this instead of, like, the small little ones that you use on home sewer machines. And so something that I really like is that I can fit both feet on here. And that's something that I did when I was working with the industrial machines too. And so between my 2 feet, I'm able to just, like, well, once you get this going, it kind of just goes. But I'm able to just, like, tap it with my toes on, like, either end. And I can actually, now that everything is just really well oiled, I can actually get a decent speed on this, and it's kind of impressive. Kind of scary, but kind of impressive. Anyway. So, that is the lower mechanics of the machine. I mean, there's little pieces. So this is how you take the belt on and off the wheel. I'm not going to do that right now because that's not necessary. But, like, if I were going to put the machine away, I would have to take the tension off the belt for the lower wheel. And then it just stays connected on the upper wheel. But this is how you do it. There is a knob on the lower wheel, which is how you get the belt on and off the lower wheel. But I still need to do a lot of cleaning in here. It's really dusty, and I think I still have a few dead spiders. But, it's looking better than it was, and honestly, I really love this machine. I'm gonna say that like a million more times. Okay. But yeah. Oh, I thought I fixed the squeak. Okay, so I'm gonna have to go. I think the squeak is coming from inside the head, so I'm gonna have to go through and re-oil all of that. I oiled it all really well yesterday and the squeak went away. I think it just needs time to like lubricate and get everything in order. But yeah, I'll just go through and re-oil everything. But I'll either do that later or I'll do it with you guys so that way you can see all the mechanic bits. All right, lifting you up, putting you there. I'm gonna grab my stool. Cool. All right, so this is the machine head. It's really bothering me that the squeak is back. Alrighty, let's actually flip the camera. Right there, there's the button that I want. The button that I want. Cool, so that way I can give you guys like a better look at things, and then I can actually see your comments as you comment. There we go. Okay. Not the whole thing, but oh, there we go. There's the whole thing. I hope I'm not making you guys motion sick. All right, getting some water, and then we'll talk about the top. So what this machine tells me is two things. One, the basic mechanics of sewing machines has not changed in over 100 years. Not that I would expect it to, but you know, that's what this is. And then two, I forgot what my second point was, but okay, we'll just go. So this is the belt. Oh yeah, so let's talk about the red eye. I think it's these red motifs here that are just in the paint job, and then there should be like a better motif on the bottom here, but it's worn off. The same as like along the front edge. What year is she from? So she's from the early 1900s, if I'm remembering the date right. So we're like 1900 to 1910. I do have the serial number here that I can look it up again. I just haven't looked it up since I got her. So, but like the insignia right here is really pretty. But anyway, like she even has like paint up here. Like it's just so beautiful. Anyway. Okay, so we have the hand wheel, which is really nice because I did talk about where I got the machine at the beginning. So if you want to go back and watch the replay, I'm not gonna recover that. Let's talk about the mechanics. I promise I'll stop getting distracted. All right, so this is a hand wheel. It is really useful. It needs to turn forward to make sure the feed dogs, which are under here, go in the right way. So a lot of the times when I start stitching, I'll just give that a push, and then I can do the rest of the mechanic with my feet. Because I'm not always confident that I'm going the right way when I just use my feet. So I'm pretty sure I'll get to that point, but that's not a thing right now. So yeah, the belt, there's a rod in here that connects to a mechanic that's just behind here. That does the feed lever, the uptake lever, that's what I meant to say. And the uptake lever and also like the needle piece. I'm pretty sure these are like the same mechanic. I'd need to open this up again to see. But I didn't pay much attention when I went in and oiled everything. But yeah. The reason how come she goes this fast is because of how well oiled she is. So, there's that. What? Oh, I love this machine. This is the stitch length, and it actually does change stitch length. I'm very impressed. Like, I don't know how, because stitch length is dictated by the feed dogs, so there has to be some sort of mechanic that goes there. I can't open her all the way up because we're too close to the wall right now. But one day I'll pull her out a little bit and we'll do that. Yeah, but this is stitch length. That has been kind of fun to play with, especially as I've been like sewing things. So on like tighter corners, I'll go with a shorter stitch length, I think is right here, and then longer stitch length comes out a little bit. The bobbin winder is right here. What bobbin do I have? I have a modern bobbin in there right now. So this machine does work with my modern bobbins, but I can't wind my modern bobbins on the bobbin winder because the hole where you would put these just isn't big enough. Whereas on, like, that just slides right on. So there's that difference. So I'm going to need to get a couple more of these, but I'll get them as I need them. So I'm not terribly worried about those. I wonder if the plastic ones, do the plastic ones slide on? They do. Oh, but they have a different, okay, cool. I'll show you guys more about the bobbin mechanic in a minute because I think it's really cool. And why I can only wind the antique bobbins on there. But it's amazing to me how these machines are still in such amazing working order. My computerized machine is so finicky. I can't imagine lasting for years and years like these old machines. It's because they're built different. These are built to last. Modern computer machines are not. So the Brother machine that I always sew on was, I think, built during that transition period from being built to last to being built to serve. Like, I don't want to say built to serve because these are like built cheaply. That's what I meant. So built to last and built cheaply are two different things. And so I think my Brother machine is right on that transition because it does have a lot of metal parts in it, which makes it a heavier machine, which will help it last. But it also, like, I don't know, it's not old enough for me to consider it to be like built to last. And you can also tell because of, like, it just has the basic stitches on it. We know it was a basic model. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff to it. So, but yeah, like, the reason how come I wanted to start collecting antique machines is because I know that there are fewer mechanical things in them, which means fewer things to eventually break down. But yeah, I don't know what this knob is. I need to look into that. It might just be what's holding whatever that is in place. Anyway, you guys can see that I have her threaded. She's not threaded correctly. Cool. I mean, if you take care of machines, they'll last, but we're not really taught how to take care of machines anymore either. Okay, so you can see, ooh, too far. So you guys can see there's a thread guide here. This is the tension. I have learned that the tension on this machine is a lot more finicky than on a lot of other machines, but it's so easy to adjust. I mean, this is really kind of fantastic. It also has like a tension rod here that has a little spring on it, which just helps keep an even tension as the uptake lever goes up and down. There is a little hole in the side here where I could actually thread it through instead of loop it under. I'm lazy. I usually just loop it when I rethread. The uptake lever, though, only has a place to thread it through. Ooh, let's bring that down. The uptake lever only has a place to thread it through, which is actually really nice because the point on my modern electric where it usually comes apart, like if my threading were to go awry, is usually at the uptake lever spot. So it's actually kind of nice that it's just like very secure and threaded through there. And then we have another thread guide on the side, and it's on the side instead of the front like most modern machines, because you actually thread the needle through the side. It's not front and back, it's sideways, which is another thing that I found in common with the, what's it called? Words. Industrial machines that I worked with. So. I wonder how, where people do get these machines. Yeah, I mean, people buy machines, people inherit machines. My great-grandmother had a Treadle that was a red eye, and one of my great-aunts inherited it. So I kind of wish my grandma had inherited it so I could inherit it, but it's not a thing. I don't get the family machine. But my mom actually would tell me how she would sew on my great grandma's machine. And so yeah, it was actually kind of funny because when I started telling her that I wanted a treadle machine, she was just like, "Are you sure? They're really hard to sew with." And I'm like, Mom, like now that I've been working with this machine, she's like, "Do you love it?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do. Like this will probably be my primary machine from now on because I really love it." Anyway, so the needle threads through the side. I'm not going to thread it because I'm going to just like keep playing with the foot pedal, and I don't want it to get all gummed up on the inside. Oh, so this is actually the first part I replaced, and this isn't even a full replacement because it doesn't actually fit very well, and I don't know if it's just meant to be this way or if it's just the way that this is. My antique electric machine doesn't have the bobbin cover on it either, so I just have been using this, and it's actually supposed to go on this way, but it like doesn't fit at all, and if I like bump it, then it'll like flip up and cause problems while I'm sewing. So it actually fits better backwards, so that's why I've been using it backwards. Anyway, I don't even know if this is the right part or if this is just like, this just hasn't really changed, and this is a modern, what's it called? Modern industrial part. I don't know. I'll figure that out. I need to get a second one for my antique electric when that gets restored. So, the bobbin case. So I've seen this come back in a lot of like really modern machines where the bobbin sits like this versus like sitting perpendicular like it does on my modern electric. I don't think it really matters. Like that's just how they're built. But it has a little button here that like lifts up the bobbin, as you guys can see. And that just makes it really easy to grab and pull out. But now that I've unthreaded the bobbin, I think my allergies are kicking up with me. My nose is starting to get stuffy. Cool. But yeah, that's fun. I really like that. All right, I'm gonna pull you guys back a little bit. So this table is really rough. The laminate is coming off. I actually don't mind how rough it looks. I do think I'm gonna get some wood glue and like probably put some pressure on it with some heavy books just to make sure that the fabric doesn't get caught in these pieces anymore, just to help stabilize it. I'm not trying to like refurbish this. I'm just trying to make it usable and to last a while. So, but it is really nice to like wrangle fabric with like this entire table off to the side, because it's like this entire width off to the side. And when you're working on things like skirt hems, it just really helps keep everything stable. So that way, like, you just get more precise sewing. That's really what all this boils down to. All right. Let's look at the bobbin mechanic. Oh, I'm gonna have to adjust. I pinned myself in a corner. All right. Sorry if I make any of you guys motion sick. Okay, I think I'm good. So this bobbin winder, not super relevant, but your shirt cuff looks quite unique. It's one of my standard button-ups, and I've just rolled them up. So, because I can't have, what's it called? I can't have them buttoned up most of the time during the day because then I overheat. So usually I just roll up my shirt cuffs a little bit, and that's what that is. But thank you. I mean, I'm glad my style looks unique-ish. All right, bobbin winder. So if you look at the bobbin, it has a little hole here. On modern bobbins, it's typically just used to like give yourself a place to thread the thread through, so that way it like has a starting point so it can start winding. These actually serve a really cool purpose. So I've used it to thread the thread through like I do, thread the thread through it like I do for modern bobbins. But on here, I don't know if you guys can see it, probably not. There is a little peg, we'll call it, right there. You can kind of see it. And that actually nestles right into one of those holes. And what that does is it stabilizes the bobbin. So as the wheel turns the bobbin tire, it will also turn the bobbin, and the bobbin won't slip, which I think is super cool. Like, it's just like little details like that where I'm just like, yes, this was well thought out. So the bobbin winder also has a thread guide right here and also one up here. So that way you can lean your thread in this thread guide and loop it around here, and then it'll go up through there. And that'll keep your thread guided, so that way when you do the foot pedal, oh, what's going on? It actually moves, and it gives you a nicely wound bobbin. Like, I don't think I've had cleaner wound bobbins ever since I figured out what this whole mechanic does. But how cool is that? Cool. So I think that's all the mechanics of the machine. I knew that wouldn't take an hour. All right. We're going to turn back around here. So satisfying and cool. I know, like every part of this machine. Excuse me. Let me get comfortable because we're going to just sit and chat. Every part of this machine, as I've been like figuring it out and working with it, I have just been like, wow, like this really works. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I also replaced the bobbin tire because the one that I had just had a lot of like dry rot on it, and it just was not usable. So I actually bought a couple because it has the same bobbin winding mechanic on my antique electric, and um, like I need to put a bobbin tire on there as well. So yeah, it's just the bobbin winding mechanic is just not something that I've played with before because I just didn't, because I couldn't, because I didn't have the bobbin tire, which is what provides that tension, which turns the mechanic on the bobbin winder. Um, and so I just hadn't played with it before. And then when I got the new tire and I played with it, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is magical. So. All right. I need to see if my mom's 1891 Singer has that. Possibly. I don't see why the bobbin winding mechanic would have changed. So. I do really like my treadle. Like I've said multiple times so far, I think it'll become my daily machine, my primary machine. And then I can put like, it's also just so aesthetic. Like, look at my little sewing corner now. Like, it's just so pretty and it just like accents everything and it's just so wonderful. I do, so my antique electric is what the serger is sitting on, and I do need to get that rewired. And I think once that gets rewired, if I can source a buttonhole foot for it, then I might not need a modern electric machine. And that's actually kind of a really strange thought for me, but I kind of like it. So, if tips for, what's it called? Okay, so I just saw someone comment that they wanted to like look up Facebook Marketplace for a machine. Tips for machines. When you're looking, you always want to ask like, is it functional or is it rusted? That'll give you an idea on like how much work you're gonna have to put into the machine to get it functional. And there's a difference between functional and restored. I'm never going to aim for having my machines be restored. I just want them to be functional so that they can like just be well loved. So you want to make sure that none of the mechanics are rusted, because if they are, then like there's no, depending on the level of rust, there's not a guarantee that you're going to be able to like fix that. So I just, if it's rusted, I wouldn't touch it. But that's me. If you're more adventurous, go for it. And the second one is, don't ever like commit to buying a machine until you have seen it. So those are my 2 tips. Make sure you know that it's functional, and then don't commit until you see it. And there's like price ranges and all of that. So didn't really old ones have shuttle shapes instead of bobbins? Yes, so I don't know if Bernadette's is a Singer. I know that different brands had shuttles versus bobbins. And like I think they're all dated to about the same time period. It's not that necessarily one is better than the other or that they are just what's it called? Or like one is more functional. That's just how they were made. And if all the mechanics are good, then it's good. So, next question. What's the difference between restored and functional? So restored, if I were to restore my machine back to its glory, I would look up how to do the enamel painting and like fix all of the enamel painting on here. I would make sure that the belt was correct. With it being a rope belt, I would like power wash or like whatever you need to do to get all of the rust off of the bottom mechanic. Like restoration is fixing it up to the point where it looks new, is how I kind of describe that. There are obviously different levels of restoration depending on what you want. There are some people that are just like, no, I just want it functional, but I don't need it to look brand new. And so like there's different levels, and if you're working with a conservator or like conserving things yourself, then there's like different levels. But for me, like a full restoration is making the machine look like it was brand new. Not something I'm interested in. Functional is getting it to the point where you can sew on it comfortably. So my machine is functional to the point where I can sew on it. I've done a couple projects on this machine so far, and it's been a lot of fun. It's not to the point where I want it because I want to get rid of that squeak. I don't know if that's going to be possible for this machine, but I'm going to try. I think it just needs more oil. So, how much does it cost usually for these pretty machines? It depends on how lucky you are and like what level of functionality restoration you are on. If you want a fully restored machine, you can be looking anywhere for a couple of grand. Typical Treadle or even like blackhead electric machines that I have seen run a couple hundred. I got mine for $50 because I am incredibly lucky. So I would have guessed that a restored machine would be expensive. I have a functional 1950 piano which cost me $200, but the restored one, yeah. So you're looking at about the same price range for these antique machines. I've been extremely fortunate. My Treadle was $50 and my antique electric was free. So I haven't paid much for my antique machines, but like that's not something you guys should expect by any means. Like that's not normal. So, all right, more questions? Now that it's a front-facing camera, I can show you guys my cuffs because that was commented on. So this is just a standard men's shirt pattern. So you have 2 buttonholes, and then you also have a good vent, I guess is the technical placket. Placket's the technical term, but this is technically the vent. So yeah, that's how it fits. I like my sleeves to be a little bit more of a bishop sleeve. It's just a little bit more feminine. But because I overheat so easily, especially during the summer, just roll them up. That's what my cuffs. It's there. That's my cuff. Sorry, I just remembered that that was a topic of conversation earlier. You guys remember when I got sunburned? And it was just like really red and like gross. Now it's itchy. It's still itchy. It's been a couple weeks. So, antique electric machine is what I refer to my, so I have, here I'll show you the cabinet. In here, I have another blackhead machine. So blackhead refers to, like this whole upper part of the machine is referred to as the head. And so the fact that it's painted black or enameled black, it gives it the name of blackhead. So I have another blackhead machine in that cabinet, but it's not a treadle. It has, it's wired for electricity. And so I call it my antique electric because I have 2 electric machines and it's just a way to differentiate them. Because if I call it, like, it feels weird to me to call that one my antique machine and this one my treadle when they're both antique machines. So that's my antique electric and my antique treadle. Especially, so they do make modern treadles. I don't know if you guys knew that. But modern treadle machines are a thing. So it just kind of like gives a good definition in the name. So do they have different sizes like in the modern ones? I'm pretty sure yes. Like there are models that come in cabinets which tend to be really heavy, but then there's I've never seen one in person, but they're referred to as like a featherweight, which comes in like a case like we put modern machines in, and like that was meant to be moved around, whereas like a machine in a cabinet is like it's a piece of furniture essentially. I mean, it took two people, one of them not being me, to get my treadle upstairs because it's just heavy. I can move my antique electric around by myself because it's not super heavy, but this treadle, man. Yeah, I don't know if my electric blackhead machine, my whatever. I don't know if this machine is a smaller head or not. I've never had them both out at the same time. So that's something I'd have to look into. When I get that one restored, I need to get my modern electric machine fixed because I haven't made that phone call yet because I'm a millennial. But once I get that machine fixed, I will ask about get a quote to rewire my antique electric because I've got it functional, but I don't trust my personal rewiring skills. So I've actually sewn a project or two on that machine and I really liked it. I liked, again, the basic mechanical feel of it. But I don't trust my wiring skills and switched back to my modern electric. But I think it would be so nice to have both machines out and functional. Just like ready to use, and then it would give me like a really good L desk shape to work with, and I could still keep the serger out for if or when I needed or wanted that, and like all that stuff. So yeah, that's my treadle. That's everything I know about antique machines. I kind of like am learning as I go. It's not something that I've just put a lot of research into like other things. It's just like, hey, I now have an antique electric machine. Let's figure this out. Or like, I now have a treadle that needs to be my primary sewing machine because I don't have another one. So let's figure that out. So I actually do. I have two more modern machines. But one is I'm storing for a friend, and the other one has lived in my garage for 2 years, so I don't even know if that one works. I've been meaning to pull that one out so that way I can finish a project I started last week. But I can imagine many table area in your sewing room. Yeah, I need to like get my studio how I want it and picked up and give you guys a good tour because I'm actually really proud of my sewing space. It is incredibly flexible and functional, and I've been putting a lot of work into like making it so but yeah, this little sewing corner is probably my pride and joy because I have both cabinets here, and when I was sewing before, my modern electric would be on this cabinet and the serger would be on this cabinet, and like it was just a really good place to just be able to pivot and sew. But if I get my antique electric, then that means that this table will be open up, and this corner back here, which currently doesn't have any tabletop on it, would have a tabletop, which means that I could have my antique electric and the serger in the corner and then my treadle out, and it would just be really awesome. So I keep burping, I'm sorry, that's gross. I inherited my great grandmother's Singer treadle machine, who never used it. It feels so lovely to use. Something that was used by my family years ago. Yeah, I mean, I really wish that, like I said before, I really kind of wish that my grandma had inherited my great grandmother's treadle. Like, I don't have any proof of it, but like it's possible that it was owned by my great-great-grandmother, who is the one who immigrated from Norway in the early 1900s, and she just inherited it from her mom. She could have just like picked it up during her lifetime. I don't know the history of that machine, but you know, like the romantic in me is just like, oh, what if it was like Bertha Louise's machine that she got when she like moved to the States, and then It's just been passed down through the family. I don't know. But yeah, part of me wishes that I could have inherited that machine. That would have been awesome. It would have been in storage for a couple years because I didn't have a place for it. But it would have been beautiful. Actually, probably would have been at my grandma's, if I'm being honest. Yeah. All right. Questions for me? Questions about my machines? What do you guys got? We got 15 minutes. I'm running out of water. I will take smaller things of water. Sorry, I'm like playing with the framing and it's really not making a difference, but whatever. Hopefully it was inherited by someone who sews and has an appreciation for it. So it was inherited by my great aunt. And I don't know if she sews, but she inherited a couple of the family heirlooms and has gone through a lot of work to make sure that they are preserved for future generations. So it's not like the machine went to someone who wouldn't care about it. The machine went to someone who like actually values family heirlooms. So my she also got my great grandfather's christening dress. That's the word. She got my great grandfather's christening dress and has like since put it in a shadow box so that way that can be preserved. But before that, she took like a million pictures because my mom wants to like recreate that dress for her future grandchildren, which will be a really nice family heirloom that like we can then pass down. But yeah, like the aunt that it went to definitely loves and appreciates it. I'm pretty sure like one of her daughters has to sew. So it's not like it went to someone who wouldn't appreciate it. I just wish it went to me. But my mom inherited an apron from Norway. We don't know if it's one that Bertha Louise brought with her. We don't know if it was picked up on a family trip to Norway. Like, we don't know the history of this apron, but we know it is part of the Norwegian traditional dress, the bunad. And so, like, that's really cool. And my mom got that because she's really into embroidery. So, fun things. Fun little, like, family heirlooms and things. I got a set of dishes from my grandma because when my great-grandparents died, they're just like, we are not having people fight over things. And I'm just like, well, Grandma, if you're, like, putting names on things, I want this set of dishes. So I've got my inheritance early. Yeah. It's not even a fancy set of dishes. It's like just dinnerware that I remembered from growing up. And I'm like, I want this, Grandma. She's like, okay. She gave it to me when I moved out on my own. So it was really nice to like have that little bit of familiarity. So points for Grandma. Yeah, I think my grandma's pretty awesome. I don't have anything else to talk to you guys about. Unless you come up with something really cool. I keep reaching for this. This is how much I have left. It was full when we started. This is how much water I drink in a day. Especially while talking. Because I feel like my mouth gets really dry when I talk. It's also, nervous tick, I guess, is something. That's what you could call it. Anyway. I need to get the shelves up here looking really cute and put together. Not that you really ever see them in videos, but whatever. Cool. Last minute questions, comments, concerns, anything? I was looking for my phone. I'm streaming this from my phone. Oh my gosh. I need to just like go take a nap or just be done for the day or something. I No question that I just have to say how gorgeous your princess dress is. It's stunning. Thank you. I have a couple more projects like my princess dress planned. I actually have fabric coming for one. Yeah. I'm really excited. There is like plans brewing for like a Halloween collab with like me and a couple of my friends. And so I'm really excited about that. I really think it'll just boil down to like a bunch of us just like thrifting Halloween costumes and making witch hats or something. But you know, it's what it is. We're trying to be like really casual about it, but I think a couple of us are gonna go overboard. I'm gonna go overboard. But that's because I can't, because I'm so far ahead on content, and I don't like anything I have planned, so we're gonna do other stuff. Anyway, so that's something that you guys can look forward to, is some possible Halloween content. Yeah, but I want to tell you guys that I don't. Anyway, oh yeah, I can tell you. I'm gonna be using the princess dress pattern and making like a modern prom dress. Kind of. It's not going to be a prom dress. You could wear it to prom though. I don't know. It's going to be tulle. Gorgeous in my head. Just hope I can pull it through. But yeah. I am still thinking through what to do for the Greek gods gowns. I have a couple in mind. I think I have everything for Apollo. And then I have Hera planned, and I have Hades planned, and Persephone's not one of the like 12 Olympians, but I might throw her in there for fun because I've been thinking a lot about it. What I'm wondering is like, do I make, because obviously these gowns are going to be very formal, so do I make a formal gown and then a casual outfit? I feel like that's a lot more bitten off than I can chew. Especially since I want to do some more historic builds next year. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I think, okay. Now we're getting into like future plans and like talking shop, and that's not what today was supposed to be about. Next week for the live, I was thinking that we could just sit down and sew together. We'll sew on the treadle, because I have a couple dresses that need to get made. So love the Greek gods project. I'm excited about it. There's like a liberation that happened when I made the princess gown, where I was just like, you know what, let's just make modern and historical dresses, because why not? Oh, update on Vanellope. Vanellope is almost funded, so I've started ordering some of the fabrics for that. I should be able to start on Vanellope within the next couple of weeks. If you still want to like throw money at that project, you are more than welcome. There should be a link to Ko-fi. There's not going to be, because I didn't update things on my back end. Darn it. Okay. I will update the description. There should be a link to Ko-fi. There's other ways to support me, like the pattern shop and Patreon down there too, if you would prefer that. I don't know, I am super excited about how everything is going and like where all this goes. Like, I'm a planner. I plan things like so far in advance, and like I'm just seeing these trends of like, we're like, I said last week that like we're almost at that self-sustaining mark. I will make that call at the end of the year when everything is like at a final tally, but we're trending that way. And to be self-sustaining within 2 years is kind of fantastic. And that just comes from like your support with buying patterns, with Ko-fi, with Patreon, with all like watching videos. It all contributes. So I really appreciate all of you. I will see you guys on Monday for a new video. I think we're making a bonnet. Pretty sure we're making a bonnet. So I'll see you guys on Monday for that. And then we'll just sew together next week live. Bye, friends.